It has been a long time since I made a video about something other than Survivor or Big Brother or Masked Singer. I think the last 20 or so videos, or like at least the last 10 or so videos, have been about that, and that's sad. So I think it's high time to honor the original nuance of this channel, that it is a place for just about everything. And these days, Disney has their paws on just about every facet of everyday life, and as Disney makes a lot of musicals, there's a very large disposal of Disney songs. Ah yes, Disney music. The sounds parents of 5-year-olds have to subject themselves to every day in their state-of-the-art SUV. Now, some Disney music is pretty good, and some Disney music came from the movie Frozen. I really better get like a hazmat suit before going to the comments after that. But today we're looking at my top 10 favorite Disney songs. As yes, I have a top 10 for just about everything. 2 quick ground rules, however. Songs from any Pixar movies do count, and I'm leaving out any songs from live-action Disney movies, because aside from Cool Runnings, I don't like them. Really, anything that comes from Aladdin, I'm heavily biased towards, as I starred in Aladdin Jr. for the middle school musical when I was in 7th grade. I was a very chubby Jafar. So I have a lot of positive memories regarding Aladdin. And this is just indisputably the best song from Aladdin. It's this feel-good, almost organized cacophony. The visuals of practically any adaptation of Aladdin pairs very well with this scene, and it's just such a catchy tune. It perfectly establishes the genie, who is one of the most beloved comic relief characters in Disney history, and I can say with 100% confidence that this is my favorite Aladdin song. Now, if Jafar had his own song, that would probably be my favorite Aladdin song, and technically he does, but it's just a reprise of Prince Ali, so I don't think that really counts. As a matter of fact, if I have any video, if I still have like a video of me singing that from the musical, I will definitely show it, but I don't think I will, so sorry if I disappointed you. Hot take alert, again, I don't really care for Moana all that much. I mean, I did like it, probably more than I expected, but it's still not really my favorite Disney movie. For me, the one shining appeal of this movie, however, is the soundtrack, which probably has nothing to do with the guy who wrote it. And you know, in a way, You're Welcome is a very abrasive song. I mean, it happens like mere seconds after Moana meets Maui, and he's this very cocky and narcissistic character off the bat, and his whole song is basically him saying, "You're welcome" to Moana for giving her everything, as he thinks he's this just starstruck, if he thinks that she's just starstruck to be in the mere presence of him. It's very similar to Friend Like Me. This is just a great feel-good song that serves as the introduction to one of the main characters. What puts You're Welcome a step above Friend Like Me, though, is I think the lyrics and the writing in general is just a bit better. Once again, I wonder who could have done that. Now, I feel very bad putting this song this low, but really the main reason why I feel bad about that is because Dr. Facilier is my all-time favorite Disney villain. But in the world of Disney song rankings, which is probably not that small, which is probably not that big of a world. It's a small world after all. See what I did there? Okay, anyways, moving on. That whole thing, that whole aspect doesn't really get you very far. The only negative thing I have to say about this song is that occasionally the pacing is sort of odd. Like at one point, it just kind of stops and he's like talking with the prince and the other characters. For some reason, I can't think of their names right now. But that only adds to the unnerving and bizarre nature of this song. I mean, he's literally speaking with demons in the song and showing off his voodoo powers. If that's not the coolest premise for a Disney song, then I don't know what is. The visuals in the scene and the movie are borderline terrifying, and I'm trying not to include the scene in the movie like that it appears in as part of my judgment, but just watch this scene and try not to tell me that it's not try to tell me that it's not awesome. I feel like I'm always forgetting about this song, but it's actually very good. Sheryl Crow being part of the soundtrack to Cars was genius, because she's just such an early 2000s singer, and her vocals with this movie is one of the best pairings in a Disney movie, if you ask me. And the fact that this is the opening song to the movie is all the better. I adore the southern feel this song has. It's almost a sort of country pop type thing that is just perfect for a movie like Cars. This is a rare example of a song that fits so well with the plot of a Disney movie, yet taken out of context of that movie can just still sound like a normal song. That's right, another Cars song, and this time it's the one that most people associate with Cars. Sadly, I won't get into it that much because it's fodder for another video for sure, but Rascal Flatts didn't do this song first, the original version being made 15 years before by Tom Cochrane. Well, actually, it's weird. Depending on where you look it up, the original recording of the original version of Life is a Highway is different, because the one version says, one version of the song by Tom Cochrane says it was, like, from 1991, like, on one album, but if you look up, like, when did Tom Cochrane make Life is a Highway? Some sources say it was 1986, but the one that I listened to is the 1991 version, still by Tom Cochrane. But anyways, tangent over, that version is far superior in almost every way. You know, if you disagree, comment below why. That being said, this is still a great version of it, a great song, and Rascal Flatts is a much better fit for Cars than Cochrane was. I will give it that. This song is just the perfect song to be the face of Cars, and I know I basically said that with Real Gone, but this song just has a special place for me. Every time I hear even this version of it in public, I can't help but show a side of me I would never show to the rest of the world under any other circumstances. For once, we have a song that doesn't show up until the final credits of the movie, but subtle motifs of it show up throughout the movie, culminating in one of, if not the best, original end credits song ever. It features John Goodman and Billy Crystal, the voice actors of Sully and Mike Wazowski, respectively, singing this slow yet humorous ballad to each other, and the great thing about it is that it's never implied to be about romance. It's just a song about love boiled down to its very definition, and there's something really beautiful about that, I think. I just love the feel of this song. It's at the credits, so we don't see who's really singing it, but let's face it, we always pictured it to be Sully and Mike anyways instead of their voice actors, so it's a lot more slower and more simple, more minimalist than the other songs on this list so far, and I always thought it was the perfect way to cap off one of the best Pixar films to date. One thing I wish Disney still did is basically give the entire soundtrack to one person. I know they don't really do it that often, but Tarzan is the best example of that. I mean, not even any of the characters sing in Tarzan, really, with the exception of trashing the camp. But that was just more just random, nonsensical noise anyways. But besides that, Phil Collins made all of the music from Tarzan, which led to a lot of bangers from this movie. But even though people always put You'll Be in My Heart as their favorite song from Tarzan, I'm going against the grain on this one. Personally, I mean, I like You'll Be in My Heart. I'm more like indifferent to it. I don't dislike it, but it's not my favorite. But to me, my favorite, without a doubt, from this movie is Strangers Like Me. I mean, it's a montage song, and montage songs in Disney are pretty awesome. You'll find out later on in this video. As a matter of fact, this won't be the last one on this list. I think a lot of people don't realize that this song is also a lot more important to the story than people give it attention for. It shows the time Tarzan spent studying the humans, conducting his research there, while in return the humans study him. This is pivotal to the story for three reasons. Number one, it teaches Tarzan to be more human-like, which, you know, is a common trend for the rest of the movie. Two, it further establishes Clayton as the main villain of the movie. And most importantly, it feeds fire to the connection between Tarzan and Jane that eventually leads for them to fall in love. It's probably one of the most underrated Disney songs, if you ask me, and I really wish they got as much, if not more, attention than You'll Be in My Heart. That's right, Moana's back, and I think Tamatoa is one of the most underused Disney characters. He's only in one scene, so it's hard to even consider him as an antagonist at all. But Shiny is his sort of battle cry. He's that trope where the villain goes on a monologue about himself while he devours his enemies, but in his own words, he does it in song form. This song has this gravely and slow crawl to the chorus, which culminates in a very well and pairs excellently with the visuals shown in the scene. That's what's so awesome about this song. It almost has layers to it. Like, it takes rapid turns throughout the song to fit what's happening on screen, and just what the lyrics are about tells the listeners not to take what's going on too seriously at first, and then out of nowhere it gets very disturbing, with Tamatoa trapping Moana and Maui and basically telling them they're powerless and worthless. Ouch. If only you knew how close this top two is. The other 8 songs are pretty good, but these two are in a league of their own. Well, we're back with an end credit song, with the help of none other than Peter Gabriel. This song is the perfect way to end WALL-E, a movie about humans ruining the environment and fleeing into space. But instead of having the song be about the movie as a whole, it capitalizes on the message the movie conveyed at its end. With WALL-E and Eve, yeah, that's right, it's actually Eve, but WALL-E's voice makes it sound like he's saying Eva. They convince the passengers of the Axiom to turn around and try to repopulate Earth after they see a plant. Down to Earth is basically depicting the passengers making their trek back home, but not without some pretty witty lyrical criticism of their previous choices from Gabriel himself. But I think the icing on the cake for this song is what we see. And usually end credits in movies can be pretty bland, even when it's more than just the white lettering on a black background. But the end credits in WALL-E are some of the best, if not the best, I've ever seen. They depict the humans coming back to Earth, but it's through a rapidly changing variety of art styles that seem to evolve in the chronological order that they were prominent in history, starting with cave paintings, then moving to Egyptian hieroglyphs, then like Greek and Roman art, then at the very end it has 80s game graphics, video game graphics. I think this is a metaphor for how when they came back to Earth, they were basically starting from year 0 again, and the clock of human history rewound itself. That's the power the song has. It's one of the only songs that can be 6 minutes long without you saying, wow, this song is really long, and that's just how amazing it is. With all that in mind, there's just one song that beats Down to Earth. It's kind of a forgotten song, yet it still has its niche in the Disney community. It's arguably the best training montage song in a Disney movie, possibly in any movie in general. And if you haven't already guessed, I'm talking about I'll Make a Man Out of You. The dramatic irony in this song is outrageous, with Mulan posing as a man so she can fight in the war in place of her ailing father. She pulls off a very convincing disguise that seems to fool their captain at first, but throughout the song, seeds of doubt appear to be planted as he sees Mulan struggle with basic training. So the first half of this montage isn't even training, but more of Mulan stumbling and occasionally almost blowing her cover. Well, after she's told off by Captain Shang, she fights twice as hard to be in the right shape for war, and the rest of the song has her whole battalion executing every aspect of training effortlessly. The song perfectly encapsulates the underdog story that is Mulan, and come on, it's Donny Osmond singing it, it's gonna be awesome. I just can't think of a bad thing about this song. It's just always been my favorite. So there you go, 10 very excellent Disney songs, which, hey, that reminds me, I got these eggs off the black market. They're probably safe. Let's see what they look like. Wait, there's no eggs in these. Not a yolk. What is this?